Welcome to the latest, the greatest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the steel basement. And boy, is this a show like no other. Like no other. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I have to send the link to someone else here. Meant to do that before the show started. But I'm going to allow you guys to collect your thoughts a little bit, and we're going to jump right in. Y'all already know what the agenda is. There's no need for me to recap the game or none of that. I might do it a smidget. I mean, literally like a one minute conversation. But we're going to get to it. Hold on, guys. 1 second, and I'm coming right to you. Coming right to you, guys. Man. Crazy. All right, let's say what's up to the early commenters like I always do. Who we got up in here, man? DeMarcus in the building. Mark Cunningham in the building. Rajon 39 in the building. Hello, the lovely Lanisha in the building. Always got to take time to say hello to our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Of course, look at that. Another one of my favorites, Sade. Sade is in the building. I knew I would see Sade today. I knew it. Hello, Sade. Good to see you. Vista Light is in the building. Jermaine White in the building. Knight Rider in the building. CT Pittman in the building. Deet One is in the building. Steely McBeeman in the building. Susie, Hey, Susie, how are you? I think that's the same Susie. Let me ask you guys really quick. Are you guys names, are y'all seeing your names the way I see them? YouTube changed a lot of you guys' names a long time ago, and it put numbers in it and stuff like that. I don't know why, but I wonder, do you guys see it the same way? David Jones, my bad, man. I know I was a tad bit late. My bad, guys. Had a late start here this evening and picking my son up for practice and then trying to eat dinner and all that. But my bad. I know. Charge it to my head, not my heart. See, Antoine Hill is in the building. Who else? I know plenty of y'all are in here. I saw it was 46 people waiting. That's never happened on this show. Waiting for the show to start. That was crazy. Appreciate the support. Hip Hopotamus is in the building as well. Who else? My good brother Kenyon in the building. C Brown in the building. The Realist is in the building. And many more of you all in the building. Lanisha said, referencing the music in the queue. You like that? Big Dro. All right. Let's get to it, guys. Listen, like I said, I'm going to give y'all my 2 minute, if that, recap of the game. Let me turn the music down because it's, louder on my end than it is on you guys' end. Listen, the Steelers just got whooped. It's simple and plain. The offense couldn't do anything. I think I outlined it well last night. They couldn't do anything. It was a 7-6 game through the third quarter. We gave up a big 3rd and 15, a 46-yard strike to Christian Kirk to end the third quarter, and it just went haywire from there. DK Metcalf, huge drop. You guys remember that on the 2nd and 10. We had momentum. We were up 3-0. We had just got the ball off of a turnover, and then DK Metcalf drops that wide open catch that was for big yards. Steelers were then in a 3rd and 10, and y'all know 3rd down was horrendous for us. I think I saw it. The actual stat was 2 for 14 or something like that. Shout outs to that defense. Matter of fact, I'm going to give the Houston Texans a round of applause, man. You got to shout them out, man. That defense is for real. That boy Petrie was everywhere. Hunter and Will Anderson provided ridiculous pressure. But that boy Petrie, whoo, he was everywhere. Lassiter, everywhere. The crazy thing is we didn't even hear Stingley Jr.'s name, but that's because he probably was shutting his side of the field down. They kept trying to attack Lassiter, and he was right there. Now, I will say that was a PI on Calvin Austin, but it is what it is, man. One play. And simple and plain, they got their butts kicked, man. And, again, expectations for this season, I've been saying it for several seasons. I haven't seen the Steeler team that made me feel like they were going to do it. I really haven't. Many of you in the chat have been saying for several years, another 9-8. So I really don't know what the shocking disappointment is in regards to that. But that is over, and we're going to talk about the real subject tonight. Yes, I am absolutely taking calls tonight. Absolutely. I do see there's a few of you guys already in the queue. Let me post that link. Here's the link to the Discord. That is my only option. I expect a lot of y'all to call in. But please keep it, keep it short, keep it light, because everybody has to speak. But please call in. So right now, in case you guys are unaware, Coach Mike Tomlin has stepped down as the head football coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, I repeat, Mike Tomlin steps down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I did not see this coming. I heard, there was a lot of speculation out there. If Tomlin were to leave, it would be on his own terms. Obviously, that's what he did. But I didn't see it coming, nor did I think the Steelers were going to fire Tomlin. And it's very important to understand that he was not fired. I repeat, he was not fired. Why is that important, you might ask? Well, the Steelers still own his rights if he chooses to coach. And everybody is saying it's very similar to the Sean Payton situation with New Orleans. A lot of speculation or a lot of things that you guys have mentioned in this chat is on the table. Could the Steelers possibly trade Tomlin? It's on the table. A lot of things are open, but I'm definitely going to just give you my thoughts, my reflections, and I really just want to hear from you guys. I really do. I really want to hear more from you than me. And before I get to it, this is a special occasion, man. I'm going to give Mike Tomlin his proper farewell. And I'm going to do something that you guys haven't really seen me do often. And even when I do this, I do it occasionally, socially, not all the time. But I'm gonna pour one up for Mike Tomlin, man. What I got here? Got some tequila. Tonight's choice is gonna be some Don Julio. Don Julio. This is not an advertisement, but this is Don Julio private cast for you tequila drinkers. Typically, if I do a margarita, I use a reposado, and sometimes if you sip, I do a Nejo. Private cast is a more of a unique Don Julio, a unique blend of tequila for you tequila drinkers. You guys would understand that. I'm gonna pour one up for Mike Tomlin. I do see we have a lot of people in the queue. The only thing that I ask you guys to do is mute yourself until it's time for calls, because I just heard somebody in the queue. And I can mute you as well, but please, if you come on, mute yourself. I see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. I'm going to get to as many of you all as I can. But yeah, I'm going to pour one up for Mike Tomlin, man. Look at this. That boy always Steelers. Always Steelers. Look at that. Look at that. I keep it Steeler, baby. I keep it Steeler. I'm going to pour. Again, let me show y'all this for you tequila drinkers. See that? It says private cast. I'm going to pour a little one for Mike Tomlin, man. Pour a little something out for Mike T. Little something. Keep it light, keep it light. Like I said, guys, side note, very responsible drinker here, man. I don't drink often. Here and there, I got my gym regimen going now as well, so it has slowed down even more. But this is a special occasion. Shout outs to one Mike Tomlin, man. And also, shout outs to Keith Nelson there for that Wonder Bread. Appreciate you, sir. He says, we popping champagne like we won the championship game. Shout outs to Mike T, man. For some of you guys that watch old movies like I do, y'all might know where this is from. Who's the first one that knows that gesture? What movie is that from? And who did it? Listen, guys, I'm going to keep it brief because I want to get to the calls. I told you guys, I am a fan of Mike Tomlin. I've been a fan of Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin is a great football coach. We can disagree on the definition of great. We can disagree on whether you like him or dislike him. I think Mike Tomlin has been a great football coach. Again, I know the no-winning seasons, a lot of people will say that's empty stats. That's fair. But that is not easy to do. If it was, there would be many more coaches who've done it. 19 straight seasons without having a under 500 record. That's not easy to do. The man is a good coach. I was telling my wife earlier, there are two coaches that I will always hold near and dear to my heart. Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin. Some people would say, why? Well, these two coaches allowed me to see a Steelers championship. It allowed me to see the Pittsburgh Steelers, the team that I root for, the team that I adore, the team that I love. It allowed me to see my team win a Super Bowl twice. Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin. They will always have a place right here. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what you say about the coach. Either coach, I could care less. I am a fan of both of them. I will continue to be a fan of Mike Tomlin. But I even said it last night. It's time. It's time. I told you that man's philosophies have grown old. It's a new age. It's a new day. That's all it is. He needed, more than likely, he probably needs his Andy Reid moment. Hey, some might say he needs his Sean Payton moment. I'm going to reference someone who hasn't won a Super Bowl since New Orleans, but is successful now in Denver. Went through a few rough patches as well with Denver. But, you know, some might say he needs his Mike Vrabel moment. Again, Mike Vrabel wasn't as long a coach at Tennessee as he was in Pittsburgh, but you understand my sentiment. It is what it is. Again, guys, I think the reason why many people dislike Mike Tomlin is simply for the duration of time. If this was a 6-7 year stint, you condense his record to 6-7 years, y'all wouldn't be saying nothing. I think it's a very unusual situation with both the Steelers and Baltimore, them having an 18-year-long coach and us having a 19-year-long coach. And I think that is what made people grow tired of Mike Tomlin and all of the, he sucks and all that. And again, I'm sorry. I will wholeheartedly disagree with any of you who say that. That man does not suck as a head coach. I'm sorry. But hey, the chapter is closing. We're going to get what you asked for, and we get to move on. And now these are uncharted territory, uncharted times, folks. This is about to get very interesting. Round of applause to Steelers 01971, as well as Luis D 8917. And again, guys, are y'all seeing those numbers and stuff in the name? I don't know when YouTube changed these names. It's very weird, man. Round of applause to the good brothers for that Wonder Bread. I appreciate you so much. He says, brother, Tomlin was a great coach. Also, that Don Julio is the choice beverage of your niece, Rachel and Bubby. Okay, that's my dog. What's up, my brother Tony? Now again, why is his name? Does it have your name listed as such? I don't know. And of course, Bubby and Rachel have good taste. Luis D says, I'm biased with Tomlin, which is why for me is a sad day. If he felt that he wasn't welcome anymore by the fans at any event, thank you for your memories, Coach. P.S. I also have a bottle of Don Julio. Great. Yeah, and that's the whole fact of the matter, guys. Again, we don't know if the reports are true, but according to Josina Anderson, and I will give Josina credit, none of them are 100% right, but a lot of times Josina Anderson, she has some of that back end information that she sits on, right? If you really pay attention to her career, she be having information that she kind of keep in the tuck. So I tend to believe some of the stuff that she says because some of that stuff has come true, but she said that Tomlin simply started feeling a little unappreciated, man, by his contingency. And, the city and things like that. Listen, it's fair for any of you fans to feel like it was time for him to go or dislike him because of the long stint of losing seasons. But it is also fair for him to feel that way, and even more fair to say, look, I've been here long enough. Let me just move on. Gotta respect it. Man. Round of applause to, who is this? K West. Round of applause, brother. Appreciate you being an extended family member for 2 months. He says, coming from the 757, I always had a little pride for Tomlin. I feel that. Change was needed, but it's a sad day. And that's what it is, guys. I want everybody to understand. Don't badmouth anybody in the chat for pouring out their love for Mike Tomlin. I mean, if you dislike him, just say that and keep it moving. I don't want to have none of that back and forth with each other tonight. This is a family affair. Guess what? He's no longer the coach. We all got to move forward accordingly. And I told y'all, didn't I tell y'all, how long have I been saying I can't wait for that day? How long have I been saying that? Ooh, I can't wait to see how some of you guys and gals maybe treat the new coach. Oh boy, I cannot wait to sit back and watch how you guys treat the new coach. This is gonna be a thing to watch, and I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it. Let's see if y'all treat it the same. And I know what y'all are gonna say. Oh, well, look how long he's been there. No. I'm not worrying about how long he was there or wasn't. I'm just talking about how y'all talk about the head coach. Ooh, I can't wait to see how y'all treat this new guy. Guess who's gonna treat him the same? Me. Guess who's gonna be the guy that as soon as something goes wrong and I'm still placing proper blame on head coach versus player execution? Me. That ain't gonna change. I got all of y'all with eyes on me to prove me wrong. I guarantee y'all won't see that change. Now y'all will really get to see that, man, you know what? Sim really is unbiased. Watch. But anyway, man, let's see. Y'all got anything else before I grab the calls? Let's see. Look, Knight Rider says, I'm super biased. All right, hold on to that, Knight Rider. Hold on to that. Hold on to that, because I want you to have that same opinion when you see how I treat this new head coach. We'll see. This is going to be cute. All right, guys, we got plenty of calls in the queue. I don't even know where to start, but I know where I am going to start. I see Susie. Y'all know I'm going to start with the lady. Y'all know that. So if some of y'all was in here first, I'm sorry. I got to start with our lovely ladies. Let's bring Susie on, man, and see what it is she has to say. Hello, Susie. How you doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So I know a lot of people are going to talk about Tomlin, but when I was thinking back after the game, I think the biggest issue, even beyond the coaching staff, was that the Steelers keep trying to cut corners instead of building complete units. on both the offense and defense. It felt like they were trying to like check boxes at the positions rather than asking how the group fit together as a whole. They'd like to add the name. They tried to bring in Rodgers, and yet we still couldn't win a playoff game. Half of our points came from the one defensive turnover. Mind you, we had 3 defensive turnovers, and we could not prioritize and execute on 2 of those. But I think we just like this franchise starts until the franchise start building around like the identity and fit instead of the resumes, we're going to keep having the same results.
Absolutely correct. And of course, Susie, I thank you for calling in. And if you're still here, I'm going to unmute yourself for a second because I have a quick question for you. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but it's a reason why I'm asking. Do you mind telling me how old you are today?
Yeah, I'm 16.
Wow, that's what I thought. And the reason why I said that, again, thanks, Susie. You guys remember how old Susie was when she first called in the blog talk? I love it. I love it. Our young lady is still with us. I love that. And it's funny, you can kind of hear, you know, the little more maturity in her voice, man. I love it, Susie. I'm so happy you called in. Such a bright mind for a young lady. So I really appreciate that. And thank you for hanging out with us older folks. You make me feel special. But Susie's right on, man. Just like when she first called us a few years back. Listen, the offense didn't perform, man. It's plain and simple. And again, if I want to say anything about Mike Tomlin and his philosophies, and maybe it's the organization, but this is what the problem has been, in my opinion, for a long time. The Steelers always just try to plug and play. Ever since Ben and Roethlisberger. I mean, I get it. He is Aaron Rodgers, but he's a 41, now 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers, unfortunately, folks, we got to see them go through a real rebuild. Even when let me show y'all this. Even when they drafted Kenny Pickett, that wasn't a true rebuild. You know why? Because they signed Mitch Trubisky to be the starter in front of Kenny Pickett. But I'm going to talk about Kenny Pickett and that decision a little bit later. I meant to cut up the video of that draft night show and my reaction to when we drafted him, and I forgot to do it. But thank you, Susie. Really, really appreciate you. You know that. Next up, I'm going to grab Daron because Daron was definitely in here first when I started the show. So I'm going to grab him now. And all I ask everybody in the show, it's a bunch of you guys here. Please keep it short and sweet so we can move accordingly. Daron, man, what you got for us, sir?
All right, go ahead, man, and get everybody else. You know how I like to let, because I see we got a couple of our OGs up in here.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, Daron. Don't let me forget you, though. I will come back to you, and let's rotate accordingly. I don't know how it looks on you guys' screen, but on my screen, from top left to right, I have Bayou Creole, Curdog, and then we'll skip Daron, and then we have, it looks like, it just says K. So I don't know exactly who that is, but we will grab. So we're going to go Bayou Creole. Oh, yeah, Curdog. We'll do O. We'll do Retardino, I think that is. And then we'll do Zuri, and then we'll come back to Daron. All right, let's go with Bayou Creole. What you got for us? Yo. Bayou, you there? Bayou must not be ready, so we're going to keep it moving. Hold on. I see you unmuted. You there? I see you unmuting, but double check I'll come back to you. Double check your sound preferences and things on your computer. You know, if you have more than one app open or a different mic or something like that, it might not be registering your microphone, but I'll come back to you. While I have it on the screen, actually, let me grab K. It shows up as K. K, what you got for us? Shows up as K on my end. And you are the only one with the K in your name.
Oh.
So there you go. What you got for us?
Oh, my bad. I did not know. I was like, hold on. You said K. I'm like, I know I had a K, but I thought it was the whole name.
Yeah, it looks crazy on my side for some reason. It has K ... And it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, real quick. Yeah. Thanks to thank you, Tomlin. I think he did some extraordinary work because I remember back in those days, coaches like him, Black American coaches wasn't really getting anything, really significant, of a patient job. It used to be like 3 years and under. So for him to do what he did a great job. Regardless of what people said, a lot of his tendencies were similar to the old school coaches. They just ran its course. It's a new game, and I think that a lot of people is just waiting for something that's just gonna come in there that's gonna be offensively, like a Sean McVay type of structure. And I don't know if they're gonna go that route because they're too conservative to me. So it seems like they played too conservative, throughout the years, and it shouldn't be certain players that keeps the team afloat. I that was the only issue I had with Tomlin, and it shouldn't be one player that makes a difference for the whole team. He had a tendency to do that with the Killer Bee era. I remember you kept bringing that up.
Grandmother.
It seemed like
my grandparents.
I don't know if it's somebody's in the background.
Yeah, somebody, whoever that is, y'all got to mute up, dog. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, so the Killer Bee era, I'm gonna get you for that because I remember you kept saying that he did not, he couldn't get it done. But I'm gonna tell you this, it was because the one player's structure that he used. For some reason, Shazier made that team way more confident than it was when I don't know why. It just, I never could get over that. Just like TJ, if you look at this record with TJ, it's like it was abysmal until like recently. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense. Why is he not winning games without these guys that are like key players? It never should have came to that. And I think it's because of the draft and position and the way he kept just try to prove a point. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna tank. I'm not gonna do this. Not saying that he needed to tank, but I mean, 2019 should have been that year. I ain't gonna lie. That was terrible. So that was all I got. I just state my opinion on most of that stuff that I've seen throughout my years.
Yeah, man, definitely appreciate the call. One thing I will say is, yes, I fully agree with you with the Shazier point, man. It's amazing how. I mean, some football people might say, well, he was the Fred Warner for the Steelers. Okay, understandable. But also your point is understandable. Like, dang, like I get we didn't really have nobody behind him, but we couldn't do nothing without him. And it just, had he not got hurt, who knows? But it shouldn't be that. Because like I said, you can name 4 or 5 guys last night on the Texans that showed up. And I'm not going to put that squarely on the head coach, but, the head coach is the head man, so you have to put most of the blame on his shoulders. But obviously we know it ain't all just that. But again, man, it's philosophy. It's philosophy, and it's whatever philosophy Tomlin had. It just didn't pan out. It didn't pan out over the duration of time. He was way more successful until the game changed, and still has some success in this game, in this current climate of the NFL. But, that structured offense that we have is you got to be more multiple than that in today's NFL. You just have to, and even some of this, I'm not even mad at playing zone when you need to play zone. Other teams do it, but one constant thing I've seen, and honestly, this even goes back to the Dick LeBeau time, is I still don't understand why we play so much off coverage and we allow free releases inside so much on weighty downs, as Tomlin would say. It's 3rd and 5, man. Stop giving the dude 5 yards inside. It's an easy pitch and catch. So, yeah, there you have it, man. All right, guys, again, I'm going to go, in order to keep this where I can remember it, I got to go Kerdog, DeMarcus, then I see MT Mooch is in here, then we'll go to O, then we'll go to Retardino or Dinho, Infamous Tim and Zori Rivers, and then we'll come back to, well, actually, I'll try to get Bayou Creole after Dog. I'll see if his mic is working. And I know I'm talking a lot, but let me just remind y'all, keep it short, guys, because we got a lot of calls. I want to get as many of you guys in as possible. Dog, what you got for us?
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Somebody got an echo. Okay. Yeah, so I just want to start off by saying, thank you, first of all, to Mike Tomlin for just basically 20 years of being a coach. Won a Super Bowl, went to another one, never had a losing season. You're right, that's hard to do. I mean, that's consistency. Yeah, we failed, came up short a lot over the past decade, but that's just kind of part of it, But it's time, man. It's time for a new era. I mean, when you look at the Patriots, they went through a rebuild. Tom Brady was gone. They brought in a new coach, got rid of Belichick, found them a quarterback, and they had a few bad years. And they was back to the number one seed. So that's my only gripe when fans say, oh, well, y'all got what y'all asking for. It's going to be, they automatically assume it's just going to be bad. And I don't understand that, because when I ask people like, well, their favorite question is, well, who you going to get now that Tomlin's gone? Okay, this is the same fan base that brags about a franchise that is so good at finding head coaches that they've only had 3 in the past 50 years. But now all of a sudden you don't think they can go find another one? Make it make sense. Okay, Tomlin got credit for everything, all the non-losing season stuff. When they posted that every year at the end of the season, Mike Tomlin, 17 year, 18 year, that was just Mike Tomlin's picture. Nobody else's. He got credit for that. But when it's time, when he comes up short, all of a sudden, all the blame gets dispersed here. Oh, with this player. Oh, execution. Oh, well, he can't really do what he wants. Well, Omar Khan. It's all of a sudden it gets blamed everywhere else. So I don't like that, because fans do that, and it's on both sides. You got some fans want to blame Tomlin for everything. They crazy. You can't blame him for every single little thing. So, but overall, I mean, it's a new era, man. We just gotta, accept it, deal with it. If it's bad, it's bad. But sometimes you gotta be bad to be good. So, hopefully, they can start. I guess it'd be the beginning of next year before they knew who's all available to be, a coach or whatever. So we'll just have to see. But I think it's good that Baltimore did it. I really think that Baltimore, with Harbaugh, that domino falling, I think, Tomlin stepped down. He didn't get fired. He stepped down. So, he don't have to, he can do what he wants, so. But that's it, man. That's all I got, man. I appreciate you.
No problem, man. Definitely appreciate the call. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'll say this as far as the statement of to get what you asked for and where I think it's going to come back on Steeler fans, right? I want you to take a look around, Dog, at our fellow fans. And I'm almost 100% certain that most of them will not be able to handle. They will not be able to handle the Steelers not having no success. They won't allow, I feel like they won't allow the new coach to rebuild. I use this example, Dan Campbell. Now, honestly, this year, the Lions didn't have the best season, so some people, you might put an asterisk on that. I'm talking about his first 3 seasons. If I'm not mistaken, Dan Campbell had terrible seasons the first 2 years, and then that 3rd year, I'm telling you, the way our fan base reacts, they won't allow it. They're not going to allow it. So that's where that statement comes from. We'll see. I hope you guys are patient. But they don't do it with players. Think about that. The Steelers fan base don't have patience with players. You think this crazy rabid fan base is going to have patience with a head coach? Okay. I'm gonna be here to watch it. That's all I got to say. I'm gonna be here to watch it. All right, let's go back to Bayou Creole, and see if we could get him squared away. Hello. Are you there? I don't think Bayou gonna work tonight. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna come back to you one more time. This time we got DeMarcus. DeMarcus in the building. What you got for us?
Afternoon. I got some new headphones. You can hear me clear?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
For sure. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, look, this is not a sad day for me. This is a celebration. I am glad that man is out of Pittsburgh. I've been wanting him gone since the Jacksonville game. Okay, I think he is one of the most overrated head coaches in NFL history, and I am so happy, so happy that man is out of town. My question for y'all is what you just said as far as the fans won't give the new head coach grace. I think you're looking at fans' perspective of a 15, 16, 17-year coach and the expectations that we have on him compared to a new one. I don't think it's about Tomlin never had a losing season. He went 10 wins. And the next head coach, hell, we might win 5 games. I don't think it's necessarily about the wins. I think it's about the progression into the next season. We may have won 6 games this season, but is that progressing into the next season? We didn't have that with Tomlin for the last decade. We can say from the time of, let's say, our last playoff win against Kansas City, up until now, can you really sit up here and say we have progressed and been Super Bowl caliber in those 10 years? I think not. We've been on autopilot the last decade. That's why that man had to go. That's why that man was overrated, because we have expectations, and the NFL and the Steelers put a aura around him, put a shield around him, put a title on that man that we don't keep up every single year. So excuse us that we have expectations for the man that y'all claim that he is. If he's one of the greatest head coaches of all time, we're going to hold him to that standard. That's going to be with him, his coordinators, his play, the coaches, the players' play, and what they do on the field. And if that's not going to happen, skedaddle, my man. I'm so happy you're gone. Thank you for your time.
Hey, hold on. Don't go yet. I definitely appreciate the call. Just one question. This is not a challenge. I'm just curious because I love different takes. What, in your opinion, what makes him overrated? I'm just curious, just from the football coaching standpoint, what makes him an overrated coach?
What makes him overrated is the expectations that we have every year and fail to produce. That's what makes him overrated.
Okay. Got it. Man, DeMarcus, I appreciate the call, man. And like I told most people, I let everybody talk, man. I have no issue with what any of you guys say, whether y'all come on here singing praises or celebrating, like my man DeMarcus said. Let me hold up my cup, because I'm celebrating for different reasons, celebrating his coaching tenure. But I respect it. But the reason why I asked that, I was just curious because we all look at things differently. To me, I couldn't say that from just pure coaching that he's overrated just because of his record. I get it. Not great in the playoffs, right? We could all say that. He's definitely not. There ain't nothing to write home about in his playoff tenure. But if we take the word overrated and we're comparing that to other head coaches, it's hard to say that just because of what he's done in a 19-year season. That's all I'm saying. But I respect it. I respect anybody who feels like, hey, man, I'm glad he's gone. Like I told you guys, man, I even started saying this the last year or two. Look, I'm a fan of Mike Tomlin, but it's been a long time. I think I started saying that at the 16-year mark. Like, we got to move on at some point. So I think we all have an opportunity as fans to now come together, right? We're all going to come together and we starting anew. I'm down with that. So Salute, man. Appreciate the call. Who we got next? Again, the name is funny. You call all the time, but I always refer you to O, because that's all it says. You have the 84 jersey in your avatar. Let's bring you on. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I called in this show plenty of times saying how much I want to move on from Tomlin. I finally got my wish today. But my plea to you is, as far as us getting mad at the new head coach when it doesn't pan out well, I just want to say to us younger fans, please have some grace with us. I called into your show a while back, and I told you that Mike Tomlin has been there ever since I was 8 years old. So he's the only head coach that I know, and like this is brand new territory for me, man. I don't know how to feel. Like I even felt sad just a little bit today, just because he's been there for so long, and like now he's gone. But also I want to add on to that this is the first step to the rebuild, because we have to rebuild. And I kind of look forward to watching games without the hopes of making the playoffs or, like winning a championship. Like, I just want a clean slate. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers need to start trading some people. We need to be sellers this offseason. There's only one player that I think that we can get a first round pick for, and that's a huge maybe, and that is Joey Porter Jr. But I want us to get as much draft capital as possible and just build the whole thing back up, because we done wasted Watt's career here. His prime, Hayward's prime has been wasted here. It's just time for a new start, and I'm excited for it. I also want to ask you, is there anybody in the coaching pool that you are leaning towards, that you would like to be the next head coach of our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers? Thank you, Sim. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And it's going to be an interesting ride. That's all I'm going to say, because I love the optimism that you have and DeMarcus has, as far as being the fan that is willing to watch the Steelers lose and rebuild. I appreciate that optimism, man. I'm just, listen, I can't be certain either. I'm just going off of what I see people say about the team. And I get DeMarcus made a good point. Maybe people are judging it on the Tomlin tenure. But I'm telling you, man, I'm going to be right here watching. I'm telling you, and I hope it don't happen. I hope we get a coach and boom, we just start winning right away. But I'm telling you, we have a couple losing seasons in a row. I can already see it and hear it. I can hear it. I know that this fan base, again, I'm just judging off of what I see. Could be wrong, but it ain't many like you two that's willing to go through that. I have said it 1,000 times. Y'all have heard me say, look, man, we got to, when people used to say, oh, it's going to be Tomlin's first losing season, I was like, yeah, it needs to happen. Why after year 15 we were still saying, oh, this is going to be the first one? It needed to happen. All the rest of these teams, man, look at the common denominator. Young franchise quarterback, most of them were in position to do so. So I'm willing to see it, but I don't know if anybody else is. And as far as coaching candidates, I don't know, man. That's not my forte. I don't keep up so much with the coaches to know. I'll rely on some of you guys to tell me that. I'll rely on maybe some of the media. Only one I know they, I've heard like Joe Brady's name, guys like that. And I would just say this, I wouldn't be opposed to anything like that. Like some of these coordinators that have proven themselves to be offensive type of guys. And, some people are throwing Marcus Freeman's name in there. Some people linking Indiana's coach, because he's a Pittsburgh guy. Excuse me. I would rather them go younger. I saw a list today. I don't recall all the names, but most of the guys that I saw were year 44 and under. I would rather us do something like that, man, like they did with Mike Tomlin, like they did with Bill Cowher, mid-30s, early 40s, a younger, fresh view on today's football. That's what I would prefer, but I don't know who the guy is, and I can't identify it. So That's all I got for you. So we have a few more. I'm gonna grab Retardino Ho. I think that's how you say it. I'm not saying that R word, YouTube. I'm just reading the name. We'll grab you. Then it looks like we got MT Mooch in here. We'll grab him. We'll grab Zuri Rivers and Tim first. I think they were before Mooch. Then we'll go back to Mooch, and then we'll grab Daron. All right, Retardino, maybe? What we got for us? What you got for us? Hello, hello, hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, I can hear you. Hello, hello, hello. You there?
Hold on. I'm not sure if this is working. Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you. If you hear me, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
This is Hip Hopopotamus. It's just my Discord name. But basically, I want. I mean, you know me. You've seen me around. You know, I'm relatively negatively biased towards Tomlin. You know, growing up, I knew Cowher for a bit. I was born '98, and at first I really loved Tomlin. I really loved the culture he brought, and what he brought over from Cowher. But watching him over the years made me realize that it's like you said, after 10 seasons, sometimes it's just time for a change. You got to look at the good, you got to look at the bad, and realize, hey, you know what, we had a good run. But besides that, I will say that I am very grateful for Tomlin, because he gave us, in my opinion, one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time against the Cardinals. And that will forever be in my memory until the day I die. So I will say that I love him for that. He's a great coach for that, at least. What else do I gotta say? I will say that he's also a great leader and a motivator. There's really no question about that. Everyone in the locker room over the pretty much a decade has said that. But as far as his coaching and him adjusting to modern football schemes, I will say he does fall short. He has fallen short. And I will also say that even in times where he needs to manage game clock, he's not necessarily the best, and it's kind of come back to bite us in the butt. A lot of the games that are close, even if they shouldn't be close, it's still come back to get us. And as far as the new head coach, I think that any sane fan, and I know that sounds stupid saying it, because most fans are not they're not sane, they're fanatical. I will say that any sane fan should not expect a 180-degree turn around in the next year or 2 years or whatever if we keep the same head coach. But beyond that, that's about it. Like I said, I will say it was a good run, but I'm glad that the ship is in new waters now, so to speak.
I like that. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling Hip Hopopotamus, man. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. It is always good to talk to some of you guys that be in the chat. And again, this is living proof. I hope some of the people that are listening see this. This is living proof with him and DeMarcus and others. Guys, with me, there's no beef. We can have disagreements about certain things, but we're still a fan base, a family. That's how I approach it. All those people that you guys may have seen me block in the past is when they're getting ignorant. Don't get ignorant and don't get personal. As long as we're just having discourse like that, and my man Hip Hop came in here and articulated himself well, I'm always gonna listen to that. There's never a reason for me not to allow guys to talk, because people have accused me, oh, you ain't gonna let them speak. Sure I am. This is supposed to be a family affair. Y'all disagree with your brother and your sister sometimes, right? Your mom, your dad. But we all should be coming together now as a collective, because now it has happened. We all have a fresh slate, if you will. And I'm going to be watching. But yeah, man, I agree with you. Listen, that's why, like I said, man, I have to appreciate Tomlin for what he did, allowing me to see a Super Bowl championship, as well as Bill Cowher, and then all of the players, man. All of the players who were a part of those runs. That's why the two of them will hold a place in my heart. I was not around to watch the 70 Steelers. So it was a good run, but now we move on. We skedaddle, as they say. All right, infamous Tim, what you got for us, brother?
Whenever I come on, I'm really much a X's and O guy. I'm a film guy. I just want to say to all the fans, and you know who you are, who are blaming Mike Tomlin for a lot of things that just frankly don't fall on his shoulders, who've been begging for this man to lose his job, who claim that he's overrated and overhyped and all these things. I really want you to understand, you saying you're down for the ride and you're down for the rebuild, that's all fun. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, until it happens to you. People saying, oh, well, New England did it. They did it in 3 or 4 years. That's an anomaly. The same way how it's an anomaly that the Packers went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. Those are anomalies. Those are not regularly occurring things. Yes, the Steelers, we had Chuck Noll. Then we got Bill Carr. Then we got Mike Tomlin. I understand you saying, well, we've done it 3 times before. What's to say we can't do it a 4th time? I understand where you're coming from, but logically speaking, it is not probable that we are going to hire the guy off the first go. You are expecting us to, you guys probably also want Aaron Rodgers gone. So you want us to have a brand new head coach, and you want us to draft a rookie quarterback when we're drafting somewhere in the mid-20s with a 6-string quarterback and a backup quarterback on roster, and a roster that you guys claim is not Super Bowl ready. So that means we are going to struggle for some years, most likely. You saying that you're cool for it, then you're down for it now. I understand it, but it might be a while. We might go through some Josh Rosens, some Trey Lances, some of these Daniel Jones. We might go through some of that darker times. And I want you to remember that you wanted Mike Tomlin gone. So when it's rough, I don't want to hear you guys complaining about the new head coach for the next 2-3 years, no matter what he does, because you wanted Mike Tomlin gone. I've always been a guy that says if you watch the film and you look at the rosters, fundamentally look at the rosters, he is taking rosters that have no business being anywhere near the playoffs to the playoffs. Now, whether you want to say it's purgatory or not is irrelevant. His job is to win games. His job is not to lose games and build to the future. I get where you're coming from, but he's trying to win. He took Devlin Hodges and Mason Rudolph to a half a game from a playoffs berth. We are consistently hanging with Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase. Those teams we're hanging with, and we had Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. I just want you guys to add some context. Yes, we didn't win Super Bowls, but neither is Kyle Shanahan, and he's better than any of the coaches you like. That's all I had.
Man, appreciate the call, Tim. What I always like about Tim's call is Tim is one, and I'm going to say this, and some of you guys are going to get offended, but I'm just speaking about calling in. Tim is one of the few that calls in and he gives that type of global perspective, X's and O's, and watches the film. You have to appreciate calls like that, right? You know, just like when I do the All 22 and show you guys, you know, some of you guys have said, man, I appreciate how you broke that down. You have to appreciate callers like that because he's looking at it from a different lens. Everybody doesn't do that. What I see happen in the chat a lot is you guys do a lot of this. You're going at each other. Like Zoo Boo Man, I just sent the message to you saying, hey, call in. Because you said this guy's clueless. Don't say that. Let's hear your side. You know what I mean? Like, again, guys, you fine to do what you want. I'm not trying to parent or govern nobody. I'm just saying what I've always envisioned this environment being is a place where we can have dialogue. It doesn't have to be pointing fingers, name calling, you're wrong, you suck. It ain't nothing about that. None of us play in the NFL. None of us coach in the NFL. We can have our opinions, but let's hear both sides, right? I would love to hear your combating, you know, I would love to hear you combat what Tim said so I could hear both sides. That's why I say, hey, man, call in. A lot of you guys that chat in the chat, call in. Let's hear you. Like Hip Hoppotamus, shout out to him. Like a couple of you guys called in tonight that don't normally call, and I appreciate that. Always want to hear from y'all. Who else we got? We got Zuri Rivers, and then we got MT Mooch. And that might be, we do got one more that just popped up. So, all right, guys, let's keep it quicker. I know a lot of us are going over time. Let's keep it fast, man, because I can't be with you guys all night. I would love to, but I'm not going to. Zuri, what you got for me, brother?
Well, what's up, Bob?
What's going on?
You know, got to show love to, Steelers. Yeah, it is what it is what it is. I call in every week and have the same perspective. We can improve each week, and playoffs is tough, bro. But Mike Tomlin, my man. I'm 30 years old, bro. We got hired in '07, so watched them most. Dang them most half my life. Uh, yeah, hey, y'all get ready for it's either gonna be a bumpy ride or smooth ride. You know, I gotta give this next person a chance, like everybody been saying, man. Like one thing I will say, we have the pieces. Ain't like it's completely trash. We got pieces, decent O-line. If we keep Gainwell and Warren, we got decent pieces around. Just need another wide receiver, but like I said, being a head coach is hard, y'all. It's hard to contain 53 men on the roster. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know. Tomlin kept in and managed, to hold everything together. Example AB. There's one of the examples. But man, he's a great dude, y'all. I understand if you don't like him, but he person wise, y'all got to give him a hand, bro. He's a great dude, man. Nobody has never said anything negative about him. For what I seen, So I love Mike Tomlin, the man. Give that side of him respect, y'all. That's all I ask for. And that's emotion.
Man, my man Zuri, I got to give you a round of applause on that one. So the reason why I got a round of applause, that's something that I don't think I've ever expressed on the show, because I dare give anybody any reason to say, oh, see? But guys, my wife is watching the show right now. She was my witness. I've always said I like Mike Tomlin, the man, right? Thing about me, right? I learn about people. Again, we never know these people personally, but I really pay attention to a lot of different things like interviews, how they interact, even some of the podcasts I listen to. You get to kind of see behind the curtain of who the real person is. Again, we don't know them personally, but you get a sense of who somebody is when you see them talk outside of their job. So the little things that I would see about Mike Tomlin and the stuff that he does in the community and how he speaks on other interviews and like when he was on the Pivot and all the stuff that I've heard, and I like who he is as a person as well as a coach. So that's the reason why I have an affinity for him, the man, right? Well, some of you guys just look at it from all Steelers head coach standpoint. No, I look deeper than that. It's the same reason why Cam Hayward is one of my favorite Pittsburgh Steelers. Same reason. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you bringing up that point, Zuri. And again, I wish Mike Tomlin the best luck, man. And again, I'm always gonna be proud and represent my VA brethren, right? Because for anybody that knows anything, Kenya would know this, even from the music scene. Virginia has always been one of those forgotten places, right? When it comes to sports and entertainment, and you look at how many people have came out of that area, especially where Mike Tomlin is from, that whole Tidewater area, Virginia Beach and Hampton and Norfolk. So I just like the person that he is, man, outside of him being the Steelers head coach. But again, I don't know him personally, but which is the reason why I don't understand why people could have a hate for somebody that they don't know. It's hilarious to me. At the end of the day, guys, this is just sports and entertainment. We root for our team, but you'll never see me have a hatred for anybody on this team. Head coach all the way down to the locker room personnel. All right, let's grab, who we got? MT Mooch, I think. Mooch, what you got for us? Hello. Mooch. Going once, going twice. We out. Maybe I'll come back. We got two new ones. I know Daron wanted to go last. So we got, on my end, it's triple B's. I'm going to unmute you right now, so hopefully you know who I'm referring to. Hello, hello. What you got for us? BBB. There you go. You just unmuted. What you got for us?
Is it working?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
All right. What you got?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're
Yes,
welcome.
sir. I just wanted to say, I think Tomlin did good for as long as he was here. I liked him. I don't think nobody really attacked him personally, like one of the callers said. So I don't understand why they felt the need to say that. But he did a great job for as long as he could. So everything runs its course, and it's time for change. Maybe he goes somewhere else and is a coach. So. But I appreciate you. Thank you. I like your show.
Hey, I appreciate you, man, and all of y'all. Hey, listen, I have no show without you guys. So thank you for calling in. Thanks for expressing yourself, and thanks for supporting. The next person here, again, on my side, it just says K. Your avatar you look very debonair. You got a tie on, white shirt, and it looks like a blazer. So hopefully you know who you are.
Appreciate
What's going on?
How you doing, brother? I'm not gonna take too long. First of all, thank you to Mike G for all he did for, the team. Started off real hot, got real cold. Happens to the best of us. But it was obvious it was time for a change. And I said it in the chat. Nobody really responded, but the main thing I blame him for is the quarterback position. First and foremost, we had a million chances to get a quarterback. And I don't know how this is not talked about. We had a chance to get Lamar Jackson. And it was obvious he was going to be the player that we see today. We never see nobody do what he was doing in college. It was obvious. It was a no-brainer. And even if he wouldn't have became multiple time MVP, we can't. Did he get drafted number 32 overall? We couldn't have used that pick. Are you serious?
Ozzie came back and got him. They traded back in.
We had so many chances. We had a chance to get everybody talking about Matt LaFleur all of a sudden might get this position, and then we're gonna get Malik Willis and bring him from Green Bay. We had a chance to get Malik Willis. Did we forget about that? But we got Kenny Pickett, Kenny Two Gloves, because of one season where he was mediocre at Pitts. Like I genuinely can't list all of them because I don't have like a list of them. I didn't prepare to do this. It's like a spur of the moment thing. But I remember year after year after year where we had 3-4 legitimate opportunities every year to draft a quarterback, at least take a chance on one. And Hurts is another one. Thank you. Somebody in the chat just said it. There's at least 4 or 5 starters in the league right now. Shoot, we could go a year ago. Yeah, they wanted to bring Aaron Rodgers in. That's cool. Did I agree with that? Absolutely not. But okay, whatever. That's what you wanted to do. You ain't want to draft one of these quarterbacks? Okay, we got Will Howard. Great. But, you had so many options. We could have got Jackson Dart. We could have got Shador. Whatever you think about him, that's the main thing I got a problem with Tomlin in the last 10 years. He just completely ignored the process of quarterback and did not draft any. We could have drafted 4 or 5 quarterbacks for all I care in the 3rd and 4th round. One of them would have hit eventually. I'm not saying you got to move up to a top 5 pick, but you're not even using a mid pick just to try while you're doing the bandage. You could have did the same everything else you did. Literally exactly the same, and still took a chance to get these quarterbacks that were proven in college. We had multiple years where we had the draft experts saying, "Yo, these guys are pro ready," and a lot of them have been proven to be pro ready. They're starters in the league today. So yeah, that's my main thing. That and this man refused to give us 2 good receivers, bro. I don't know what's up with him with that. I genuinely don't know what's up with him with that. I thought maybe he was going to turn the page when we signed Pickens, and then I'm sorry, not Pickens. We signed Metcalf and we had Pickens. I was like, oh, all right, we might be able to do something. And then we traded Pickens. So those are my 2 gripes on him, man. Good years. Ultimately, last 10 years, he made obvious mistakes that we as fans, a lot of us saw like, I don't think that's the right move when he made them. And this is prior to the season starting. This is personnel stuff. And then lo and behold, the end of the season comes, and exactly what most of us thought when those decisions were made happened. And we're like, why are you acting like you're surprised? Ray Charles could see that was a bad decision. But I digress. I know I was a little long, my bad.
Definitely appreciate the call, brother. Gotta remind y'all, man, I love y'all, but y'all gotta keep it shorter. But I appreciate that call. I want to reflect on something you said. Mike Tomlin gets some of those blames, not just one. But we can't forget one thing, guys. We'll never know who made the final call for all of this stuff, but we have to put some of that on the GM as well. Mike Tomlin's philosophy, you could question that, but even with the 2 receiver thing, right? I always go back to like the Killer B era. There was times where in Mike Tomlin's tenure, he had multiple receivers and he had a high-flying, powerful offense. Because sometimes people will say, oh, he doesn't want to score points. So let's not forget Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, who they went and got in the 2nd round, Martavis Bryant. Let's not forget, it's even when we got AB, Emmanuel Sanders, we've had moments where we've had 1, 2, maybe even 3 receivers. Now, here of late, why that happened, I don't know. I'm not going to put it all on the GM either because, I feel like head coach and GM should work in tandem. But I can't put all the blame on Tomlin. But let's also not forget this. Yes, they passed on some players. And wait, do y'all remember who we drafted in that draft when Lamar Jackson was drafted? Terrell Edmonds. Now, the reason why I'm so salty about that, I told y'all this story when it happened. My wife's cousin was Jesse Bates' agent. I asked him specifically, I looked him right in the face and said, yo, did y'all talk to the Steelers? He said, hey, man, we thought the Steelers were going to, we thought we had a chance to come to Pittsburgh. So am I mad that they didn't take Lamar Jackson? Not exactly at that time, but I was pissed that they didn't take Jesse Bates. Remember, at that time, we needed a post safety. But as far as the Lamar Jackson thing, let's not forget, the one time they did do it and they drafted Mason Rudolph in the 3rd round, guess who was pissed? Guess who made a stink? So again, I think the Steelers organization, I'm going to say from the Rooneys to the GM to Tomlin, they fumbled the bag when it came to quarterbacks. And as long as Ben Roethlisberger was playing, since that Mason Rudolph situation, they won't draft another quarterback. Shame on them. But I'm not going to say it was all Mike Tomlin, but I get your sentiment. Got to put some of that blame on him. But clearly Ben Roethlisberger, I think that's the reason why they didn't do it. And then they were stuck. They were stuck and they had to take a shot at Kenny Pickett in that draft. You did not have to draft him at 20. Y'all remember my face? Do y'all remember my face and my response that night when we drafted him over Willis? And no, Malik Willis hasn't been the greatest quarterback either. It looks like he's coming on a little bit now. But just off of pure what could be, you take Pickett over Willis? And look at what quarterback is still the last man standing in one of the worst quarterback drafts. Brock Purdy. Not only was he the last quarterback, he was the last man picked in the draft. Just goes to show you, man. Just goes to show you. But appreciate your call, man. We're going to try Mooch one more time. Mooch. Can you hear me?
Yo,
There
Seth,
you
can you hear
go.
me?
There you go. Yes, sir. What you got for us?
All right, man. I'm gonna keep this thing brief. I'm 25, man. So I only know one Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin, correct? So Mike Tomlin's the only coach I know. So it cracks me up when I see other 20-year-olds my age in the 20s speaking on the standard is the standard. If all we know is Mike Tomlin, didn't he set the standard for us? So why are we sitting here screaming the standard? And it cracks me up because Sim, it ain't just now the older generation. I understand, I get, but a lot of the generation that's bickering, it's all they're all they know is Tomlin. And I'm not sitting here defending them, but it cracks me up when I hear the younger generation speaking of the standard is the standard, because now you're just going by the media. Because again, Mike Tomlin set the standard for us. He won a Super Bowl for us. That's one thing. The second thing, this fan base is so hypocritical. Everybody screams mediocrity. I'm sick of mediocrity. So then excuse my language, why the hell is why are y'all clamoring for John Gruden? I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick and tired of seeing it. What has John Gruden done that Mike Tomlin hasn't? Everybody mixes around. What Tomlin, he generated Bill Cowher's team. Well, hell, didn't John Gruden? Didn't he do the same thing? So if you're going to speak, don't be hypocritical. State facts. Stop going off of what he says, she says. Stop with the nonsense. And then the Kurt Signetti. Can we stop with that shit too? I'm sick of seeing that shit as well. Excuse my language too, Sam. But I'm sick of seeing that as well. Kurt Signetti is damn near 70, 60-something years old. You maybe got about 2 to 3 years in Kurt Signetti. So that please, for the love of God, stop. And my last and my final point is this. I've seen it all over social media. It got to the point where I got off of Twitter. I've been one of the biggest Mike Tomlin has to go type of guys. But at the end of the day, the fact that there are fans celebrating this man being gone shows just the lack of humanity that these people have. Because at the end of the day, whether you like somebody or not, I used to hate Brady. I hated Brady. But at the end of the day, I respected him. Where the hell is the respect at? Where's the respect? You got older people in their 40s, 50s. Oh, Mike Tomlin, this and that. Have some goddamn respect. You cannot like somebody but respect what he's done. You grateful, you grateful mofos gotta chill out with this crap, man. That's all I got, Sam. That's it.
Oh man, Mooch, we gotta end that with a round of applause. Hey man, listen. Y'all know, if y'all know me well enough, y'all know I hate speaking in third person. But all Sim do is speak the truth, man. I keep telling y'all, this is Mooch saying this. Y'all know how much Mooch used to go back and forth. We used to, go back and forth in the chat and how much he said Tomlin got. But listen to do you hear what the man is saying? Do you hear what this brother is saying very intelligently at 25 years of age, which ain't a young man, but a young man, mature. At 25, he got more sense than a whole lot of people, like he said. Why do you hate this dude so much and you don't know the man? Like he said, wishing people to be fired and all. Dog, come on, man. Yeah, we can say that out of jest as fans, but at the end of the day, where's the hate? But even Mooch made an excellent point. Even with him saying, look, I've been one of the main people saying he's got to go, but when you put it all in perspective, he set the standard for his age group. But like I said, the reason why, and I think Tim said it, he used the same word, anomaly. The reason why many people feel that way is because you're not accustomed to seeing a person in the same uniform or same job for 19 years. That's the reason. But man, that was an excellent call, man. I was glad to get Mooch on here, man. Appreciate you, man. I really hope you consider calling in more often, man. That was a great call. All right, we got two more, guys. Keep them quick. We got DJ, and then we got Daron, and then I'm going to end with some final thoughts. What you got, DJ?
What's up, Sim? How you doing?
Good. What's going on, brother?
It is one of the most disgraceful days in Pittsburgh Steelers history. I'm sick to my stomach. I never, ever wanted Mike Tomlin gone. I don't care. He did what you would want of a coach. I just can't believe this, to Mooch's point, that people are celebrating in the fact that this man is gone. If Aaron Rodgers, the 43-year-old statue, throws one touchdown, you might got the big hat on today for Joey Porter Jr. You talking about how good the defense is, holding the Houston Texans to 7 points going into the fourth quarter. That's the conversation. It's not the fact that one of the most storied coaches in the National Football League history was forced to leave. I think it was the fans. I think he got tired of this. It's gotten to the point his family had to get involved in stuff. It's a shame. It's a shame. I just don't know what to do. And, people are like, oh, well, we can suck for 2 years and then we'll get a really good pick, or, we'll go. Who wants to do that? To Mooch's point, I'm just a tad bit older than him. I'm 28. So I did get to see us, win the 2 Super Bowls. But I even outside of that, I've only known winning. Okay. My mom is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so she's told me a little bit about the 90s and all that stuff. But it's just sad. And lastly, I will say this, and this might be a little bit controversial, but I think in the present time that we are, they have allowed outside factors, if you know what I mean, to step in and push Mike Tomlin out. I've seen a lot of that. There's somebody posted, oh, yeah, this is our great time to go snag one of the young white coaches. I think that's disgraceful. And that has seeped into this Pittsburgh Steelers culture from the fan base this year. It has to stop. Thank you. I'm sorry if I went over.
Hey, DJ, appreciate your call, man. I'm hearing a lot of new voices in this call queue. I love it. Thanks for calling. And guys, before y'all even do it, don't attack him for his last point. Guys, come on. We're all human. We all understand. Right? I saw somebody say earlier when one of the callers said, one of the first callers said, man, I was proud of him. He did a lot for African-American coaches. And I saw one of y'all in the chat say, what does race have to do with it? Stop. Everybody knows as good as anybody else knows that when Mike Tomlin became the head coach, there was not a wide variety of minority coaches in the league. That's what he was speaking to. And yes, guys, unfortunately, there is a segment of the fan base that would prefer someone else to be the head coach. We all have eyes, right? I'm not making that claim myself. He's not making that claim. He's just simply talking about what he has seen from some in the fan base. Let's stop being so sensitive and let's stop acting like our eyes aren't open and we don't live in this country that we live in. Come on, stop being stupid. So I'm just going to say that before y'all try to attack him. Understand the point he was making. All right, again, like I said, we are all family here. I don't care what your race, creed, ethnicity, excuse me. I can't, that's the Don Julio got me talking crazy. But, we all have eyes. We all have ears. In the ways of the world, you can't escape them sometimes. Again, I don't know if it applies here. I'm just speaking solely to what my man was saying there. 2 more. I got to take Afro Thunder. That's it. Any of y'all that are late, y'all ain't no more because this is almost an hour and a half. Afro Thunder and then Daron. Keep it quick for me, guys. What you got, Thunder?
My brother, what's going on? You all right?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
Okay, man. Listen, man. I know some people are talking, oh, glad Tomlin gone, all that stuff, but they don't realize Tomlin kept the team relevant for years. And a lot of people are not old enough to go back to the Chuck Noll years when Chuck Noll first came on the scene in '69, and he had to build that team up. But at one time, even though he won 4 Super Bowls in 1988, they're ready to get rid of him but then he went to the AFC divisional game in '89. But after that, he didn't really do anything. Cowell came on. Cowell was doing good, lost Super Bowl 30, but then there were those 3 years they're ready to get rid of him until Ben came on the scene, and the rest was history. So when Tomlin came on the scene, he won. They talking about, oh, he won with Cowell's player, but keep in mind, he had to coach and establish that team to his image so he could win. Yes, the last 10 years we really haven't won a playoff game, but he kept the team relevant. Do we like the fact that we lost playoff games? No, but the fact is we all cheer when we win, and fans are finicky. Well, man, they want, yeah, but when they lose, oh, get rid of them and all that stuff. But I like to see all these fans come on, do what Tomlin did and keep the team relevant. But I'm looking forward to the new head coach and see what he does. He might start off good, he might start off bad. We don't know. Only future lies. But one thing about it, the Steelers have 12 picks in this draft, so he has time to be able to pick. And I realized that until somebody said it on Sunday in the chat that they had 12 picks and they had 3 third-rounders. So I was like, okay, well, we'll see how this head coach, the new head coach, going to have a gold mine. So now he has the chance to build a team in his image.
Man, Thunder, I appreciate your call, brother. Y'all know I appreciate y'all every week, man, and when y'all chat and stuff, but it's so special to hear y'all, man. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you put a voice to the name. It almost reminds me like, man, couple times last year, I didn't make it this year because I'm so busy with other stuff, but a couple times I went to the game last year, man, and I remember stopped at the rest stop, me and my son, and I hear somebody saying, SimFBallCritic, and I was like, what? And it was one of you. Y'all might be in the chat. I can't remember who it was, but you recognized me and we chopped it up. And you was like, yeah, man, I'm so-and-so. I watch the show all the time. Stuff like that is cool. When you can put a face and a voice to, you know, it feels more connected, man. So I love when y'all call in. I love when y'all chat too, but it's just a different energy when y'all call. So I appreciate that. And yeah, man, I can't disagree with nothing you said. I mean, listen, guys, we got to appreciate what the man did. And like he said, now we move on. And this is the moment I've been waiting for. Now y'all can put all of that behind you and let's see how y'all treat the new coach. All right, Daron, man, keep it quick for me because I got a few points I want to make before I wrap up. What you got for us, brother?
What's up, man? Well, one, a round of applause to all my SimFBallCritic family. Y'all have been doing y'all thing tonight. I have enjoyed this. Haven't had this much fun since our blog talk radio days. Back in the prime when we were talking about the Steelers going 13-0, and we thought that we should have been 0-13. But Tomlin was a good coach, no matter what anybody say. Just like he did something that Bill Belichick never did. He did something that Andy Reid has never done. He continued to win. Yes, us old heads are ready for a change. We want to see something new. We wish Tomlin would have been the one who made the change, and we could have had set him off in the sunset with a Super Bowl. But with that being said, then you're the new head coach. What is some things that you are going to make change? How would you see to go about improving this team to try to make us better? And I ain't gonna lie, I'm expecting a Madden franchise with Sim as the new head coach now. You know, starting off a new season from scratch. I'm just saying. Much love, my brother.
Man, Daron, appreciate the call, but more importantly, man, I just appreciate you sharing your thoughts on how the show went tonight, man. You're one of the longtime veterans, longtime listeners, and you guys have no idea how much it means, man, to have a following, so to speak. And I'm such a humble person that I don't even like saying that. I don't even like saying, "Oh, my subs." Nah, that's why y'all notice I've never said to y'all my subs, my fans. No, it's family. I'm just happy to be here talking, but all of y'all are a part of this. And without y'all, this is nothing. So I appreciate the endless support from many of you and even the newcomers, man. You have no idea. Man, that's a loaded question. It's a perfect time to say this. I know y'all were waiting for it. Kenyon and I will be doing a still table next week. I didn't do it tonight because I wanted to get you guys reflections. So probably next week we might not take calls. We'll just get Kenyon on. However, with Discord, we do have the option for Kenyon to hear calls as well. So we'll see. I'm going to hold deeper thoughts until then, Jerome. But I will say what I would do, my 30,000 foot overview, high level. Go a little younger at coach. Again, this is not an indictment on Mike Tomlin. I'm just saying now that he's not going to be the coach, go younger, follow that blueprint. You know, your own blueprint, Steelers. You hired Mike Tomlin at 34. I think Bill Cowher might have been like 36 or something like that. Follow that same blueprint. In today's era, you know, the Matt LaFleurs of the world, the Sean McVays, the Kyle Shanahans, these guys that were younger, you know, go with that. I say get an offensive wizard, right? A guy that can scheme up some offense and not that old school mundane offense. Listen, when it works, it's a thing of beauty. There's nothing, if you like me and you from my era, or if you played the sport like I did and played running back, and ain't nothing like that ground and pound, baby. Ain't nothing like it. However, that ain't today's game anymore. It's funny, right? You go back and you look in the modern day era, you look at teams like the Greatest Show on Turf. Back then, they showed us what's popping right now. Think about that. Think about them wide receivers that the Rams had back then, and Kurt Warner, you know, manning that ship, and you got Marshall Faulk in the, like, ooh. That's kind of more so of some of the offenses that we're seeing now with explosion, where some teams are 1, 2, 3 deep at receiver. Got a steady back. Not so much a bell cow anymore, but you got a back that can receive out the backfield, right? Think about it. Not comparing them as an exact comparison, but a Kenny Gainwell could fit that Marshall Faulk role in that type of offense, right? Being that guy that can receive out of the backfield. He's shown that. But you got to have weapons. You got to have more of a spread style of offense. Now, you can line up in You can line up in I formation here and there with a fullback. You know, you could go heavy set when you want to. You can have the ability to go 12. But your main offense needs to be that firepower. Or at least you got to get these unique formations like the Kyle Shanahan from that school. Look at the Rams. You know, they 1, 2, 3 deep pretty much at receiver with a couple running backs back there. But man, come on, you gotta do that. You gotta be able to do that. Look at Seattle. Seattle is approaching a 1, 2, 3 pretty much at receiver. Cincinnati, 1, 2, 3. You know, you have to be that style of offense. One of the only teams that can really just ground and pound and it works. And it works uniquely is like the Ravens because of Lamar Jackson's ability to run. But if you have a statute-esque quarterback, and ain't nobody worrying about him scrambling, ain't nobody worrying about him running the ball. Think about the little stint that we had with Justin Fields, and we saw how that put a little pressure on defenses. See what I'm saying? So if you're going to have a ground and pound type of team, I'm talking about built to ground and pound, not a team that's able to run, because many teams are able to run out of 11, out of shotgun. I'm talking about when you build your team for ground and pound, you got to have a threat at the quarterback that can run the ball. So that would be my overarching view. You got to go with a young, new idea, fresh offensive mind. Defense is going to take care of itself, I think. Get a hard-nosed guy to come in there and try some different things defensively. Think about, not saying this guy, I'm just saying, think about the things that Rex Ryan brought to the table when he was with the Ravens. Or Brian Flores, you got to get a defensive guy that's willing to try some different things or play to the strengths always, or live and die by just being, we going to be in your face, you're going to beat us, you're either going to win or you're not. That's a culture. And sometimes I would get on Mike T for zoning a lot, but again, he comes from the Tampa 2 tree. Even though we play quite a bit of cover 3, but he still comes from more of that zone style. But again, you talking about Rondé Barber and John Lynch, Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp. I mean, look at the levels. Back then, those style defenses worked because dudes weren't airing it out so much. And you had a dog at every level. See what I'm saying? So that would be what I would do to get this team in the right direction. You got to be able to be an offense that can produce points, play good enough defense, and there you have it. And that's just what you got to do. Even Houston, even the Texans, when they healthy, are 1, 2, 3 deep at receiver. So that's what you got to do. But the last thing I wanted to say, guys, really quick, for everybody that has so many opinions about what's a good coach, what's a bad coach, and everybody mad because we didn't win playoff games. I get all of that. But let me ask y'all a quick question. Do you guys think John Harbaugh was a bad coach? Do you guys think Sean Payton is a bad coach? Do you think, here's a good one. What about Sean McDermott? How do y'all feel about Sean McDermott with what they've had the last 6-7 years, being right on the cusp? How do y'all feel about him? If we had the Buffalo success the last 6 years, would you guys be happy with that? Would you be happy if we traded places with the success that Buffalo has had in the playoffs? Just take the last 6 years. Would you guys be, honestly, ask yourselves, would you be happy with that? Hey, the Ravens, last 6 years, would you be happy with the success that the Ravens have had in the playoffs the last 6 years? Okay. Keith Nelson says McDermott is mid. Okay. Fair point, but what makes him mid? What I'm saying, guys, a lot of times as fans, we can't really decipher what makes a coach good or bad. We really can't. A lot of you guys are really just looking at the success rate. Keith says he would be happy with the Ravens and Bills' success. Okay, so let me get this straight. The standard is the standard. That Pittsburgh Steelers fan base would be happy with just winning playoff games. Let me hear it. You guys would be just happy with winning in wild card weekend, occasionally winning in divisional, occasionally getting to the championship game, but not winning the Super Bowl for the last, let's say, 7 years. Y'all would be satisfied with that? And if you say yes, I want to know why. Why would you be satisfied? Give me a little more. There's a reason why I'm asking this question. No. Give me, go back to 7. Give me the last 7 years. Would you trade the Buffalo success and the Ravens success for what we've experienced? So a better question is, do you think the Buffalo Bills fans should be happy right now? Knight Rider says he doesn't understand. Okay. Well, the reason why I'm asking this question, guys, is neither one of those teams has won a Super Bowl. Name one of them. In fact, the Buffalo Bills has never won a Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills, for some of y'all that may or may not know history, back in the 90s, they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost. I'm just saying we have to recognize as fans that we just want to win the Super Bowl. That's what y'all really want. And I understand that. But it's just not the likelihood every year. Yeah, it's been a long time, but look at how many teams that don't have any. This is the reason why I told you guys why the Rooneys kept Mike Tomlin. Because at the end of the day, remember at the beginning of the season, before the season started, the other Rooney, I forget his name, one of the other brothers said, if you really look at the landscape, we have been one of the most successful teams in the last 5 years, even amid the playoff losses. Do you know why he said that? Ching, ching. That should have told y'all right there that the Rooneys ain't had no plans to fire the man, because he kept them in contention. He kept the registers ringing. The Pittsburgh Steelers organization knows that they are one of 2 teams that has 6 Super Bowls in the history of the NFL. It's been 50 plus Super Bowls. They only got 6 of them. So my point being, us fans want more and more and more, but the reality is, it's just not always likely. Every now and then, you get one of those teams. Here's the funny part. In the 70s, we did it. We came back in the early 2000s and did it. Twice. You know, it just don't come back like that. Dallas Cowboys, how many did they get in the 90s? Was it 3? Yeah, because I think Jimmy Johnson got 2, right? And Switzer got 1. Have they been back? I'm just saying, good people. When the last time the Packers got them one? Oh, against us. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, that's what y'all really want. So just say that. Don't feed me the nonsense of saying, oh yeah, I would be happy if we just win a playoff game. What good is it? Let's be honest. What good does it do to just win playoff games? What does it do for the fan base? Just imagine if we are Josh Allen Bills right now, and the last 5 years we done been in the playoffs and win a game and don't go no further. Shoot, the Cincinnati Bengals got to the Super Bowl. Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow got to the Super Bowl before Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. That's all I wanted to know. But all right, guys, I got one more Wonder Bread, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Appreciate that, Jay Webb. Thank you, brother. This has been an outstanding show tonight, man. I appreciate y'all so much. He says Tomlin has done more with less, but the hiring of coordinators fall to him. I agree. Ultimately put us in this position, in my opinion, starting with Canada. Man, Jay Webb, I could not agree with you more. And I have said this much on this show. I said this very recently as well. If you want to blame anything on Mike Tomlin, again, I keep saying it's his philosophies, and along with the philosophies would be the coordinators that he chooses to employ. The Matt Canadas, the Keith Butlers, the Randy Feetners of the world, all of these folks. Arthur Smith, all of them kind of got that same mojo. But again, if you ask me offensively, I honestly think it stems to the decline of Ben Roethlisberger. Because we had Todd Haley, and we were putting up crazy numbers. And then as Ben Roethlisberger started aging, it seems like we started being a little more conservative with the quarterback. And then once Ben left, we weren't opening it up with Mason Rudolph. We won't gonna open it up with Duck Hodges. We won't gonna open it up with Mitch Trubisky. We won't gonna open it up with Kenny Pickett. But hey, that's all behind us now, ladies and gentlemen. Terrell Austin, yeah, let's not forget him. It's all behind us now. Now we get to move forward. And we shall see. But hey, stay tuned, guys, because if there's any breaking news, I will definitely be coming to you guys with a report and a quick show on whatever news breaks. If we find out if somebody that's going to be a candidate, if we find out if other guys get fired, all of that, I will be right here. But other than that, I will be back to you guys on Tuesday. My good brother Kenyon is going to join me for the Steel Table, where we're going to discuss the status of the Steelers and what maybe the next move should be. And there you have it, man. Listen, I appreciate everybody. Somebody said go get Salah. See, y'all naming all of these coaches that ain't did nothing. What did he do at the Jets? Again, I like Robert Saleh. You know, love what he's doing with the defense, but I'm just saying, I got questions for y'all, man, and I wanted to get to it tonight, but I didn't know that Tomlin was actually going to step away. I got a lot of questions next week about who you looking at and all of these coaching names that ain't did more than him. We gonna see. Yeah, okay, the Jets were a mess. Listen, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. All these names sound cute until, you know, first thing they got to do is get a quarterback. And I campaign for Will Howard getting the shot, but we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. Round of applause to Mr. Tonight. Appreciate that Wonder Bread. He says, Sim, how can you listen to the music you got playing? Well, unfortunately, my good brother, it's only for my listening pleasure. All of the music that you guys have ever heard on my show, at least for the last 4 or 5 years, it's all music that I produce. So thank you for your interest there. But this is all music that I produce. Honestly, and Kenyon will understand this, because Kenyon is a music guy as well. A lot of this music is not mixed or mastered or anything. It's raw. As a former artist, very sensitive about that. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll try to get some of this stuff. I'll try to mix it myself or something like that. And, you know, maybe I'll let some of you guys rock out with it, you know. We'll see. But at this point, it's just for my listening pleasure. But all right, man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. Y'all know the routine. Y'all know the routine. If you like what you saw here tonight and you love the content, right there, make sure you subscribe to the channel, but hit the like button. More importantly, hit the like button. There's a whole bunch of y'all in this chat. So a whole bunch of y'all watch the show. At one point, it was 150-something people watching live. If I'm being modest, can I get 100 likes? But outside of that, man, listen, y'all know the routine. Y'all stay safe out there. Please stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank each and every one of you all for tuning in. Hey, and this is the new era, baby. The new era has begun. Let's see what happens with these Pittsburgh Steelers. And honestly, after you get past the emotion, it's exciting times. But all right, I'm out of here, man. Y'all be good. Until next time, peace.